We are live. Hello, everyone. How are you doing today? I remember your humble host, Dr. Edmond, Ikeh. I bring you this wonderful show called Nigerian Constitution and Your Rights. Nigerian Constitution, Know Your Rights. A show powered by the Global Coalition for Security and Democracy in Nigeria. Every Tuesday, 9 p.m. Nigerian time and 3 p.m. U.S. Central Time or 4 p.m. U.S. Eastern Time. It is a show that teaches you about your right as a Nigerian, about what is contained in our constitution, the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, 1999, as amended. And if you have been following for the past few weeks, we are in Chapter 2 of the Constitution, which is the fundamental principles and directive policy of state. And in that policies of state, we are exploring the various policies of state, starting the political objective of government, the economic objective of, and today we are talking about the social objective of government. And I hope you are ready to learn what is the social objective of government. It is kind of like the social, excuse me, it's kind of the social contract between the government and us, the people that are being governed. So that is the social objective of government. And without further ado, I'm going to take a quick break before we go listen to this great message of great man. He is late now, but who was sounding an alarm to Nigerians. And I hope you should pay attention as to dive into the social objective of government. Listen.
Abacha. And people don't give him his due. Do you think you would have tolerated such nonsense? General Abacha famously said that if an insurgency lasts for more than 2 days, the government knows. That is the real and the truth. And let me make some revelations, because some of us also have our own intelligence networks.
Okay.
Have met with some of the bandits. We have met with some of their high commanders. 1 or 2 who have repented. They have sat down with us, not once, not twice. They told us that one of the northern governors is the commander of Boko Haram in Nigeria. Boko Haram and the bandits are one and the same thing. They have a sophisticated network. During this lockdown, their planes were moving up and down as though there was no lockdown. Moving ammunitions, moving logistics, moving money, and distributing them in different parts of the country. They're already in the south, in the rainforest of the south. They're everywhere. They told us that when they finish these rural killings, they will move to phase 2. The phase 2 is they will go into the urban cities, going from house to house, killing prominent people. I can tell you, this is the game plan. By 2022, they want to start a civil war in Nigeria. Don't joke with what I'm saying. I have a PhD from Oxford University. I'm a central banker. We don't talk nonsense. So don't joke with what I'm telling you. I have this from the highest possible authority, higher authorities of some of the commanders of the killers and Boko Haram.
You said northern governors, past or present, Dr. Badaya?
No, current. No, they said one of them is the commander of Boko Haram in Nigeria. One of them. And they are not looking for money. They have more than enough money. In fact, he told me they just came back from one of the Middle East countries in private jet, full of ammunition and dollars.
Did they tell you, Dr. Badaya, why they would want to cause civil war in 2022?
Yes, so that they can continue in power. I'm not making this up. I am not joking about this. I love Nigeria. I don't like the shedding of innocent blood.
Welcome back, my people. You guys have had that message by late Obadiah Melafia, who was the former Deputy Central Bank of Nigeria. He sounded this alarm about some years back, before he was murdered or before he was killed, that northern governors, some people in the current government in the north, are part of Boko Haram, are sponsors of Boko Haram. And we know this to be true because even the United Arab Emirates and even US sometimes release a list of the financiers, the financial supporters of Boko Haram. And the Nigerian government refused to look at that list, or refused to talk about that list, or refused to address that list, because these are people in government that are causing this problem. And the same situation we have now of oil theft, which you have a report released a few weeks ago that that's a illegal pipeline that went into the sea, throwing our oils and then shipping it through our sea. And big ship coming in, and for the past 9 years, which we all know is more than 9 years, but the report says 9 years, and this has been going on, and nothing has been done. And we know, once again, it is the government that is involved in all these activities. The government is involved in the insecurity in our country. The government is involved in stealing from our commonwealth, from our oil resources, from our natural resources. If you go to Sokoto now, the mines, the gold mines over there are being mined by government, and nothing is accounted for. So that is the government we have. That is the situation we find ourselves in. And today's topic, today's conversation, the social objective of government, of Section 17 of the Nigerian Constitution, 1999 as amended, is telling us about what's our social contract with the government. They're supposed to ensure equitable distribution of our human and natural resources. And they're supposed to ensure the safeguard of our life and the sanctity of our life. That is what Section 17 of the Federal Republic Nigerian Constitution 1999 as amended is talking about. But the government have not done this since. The social objective of government. The government have neglected its social objective, the social contract it has with us as enshrined in our constitution. So please, 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 as you're joining the show, take 1 minute to share the link, share and like this program, like wherever you're watching from. It's on YouTube channel, like it. If it's on Facebook, like it. If it's on Twitter, like it. And because those are the 3 platforms we stream on simultaneously every Tuesday as we broadcast the show. So like, invite people to join. And if you have not subscribed to any of our channel, Dr. Edmond Ikeh YouTube channel, or the GCSDN Human Rights YouTube channel, or follow us on Twitter or other social media, please try to do that so that you have notification when we come online and then participate and engage actively. So please, once again, as you come on, comment, ask question, be part of the conversation, be part of the show, and so that you can learn more. The more you ask questions, the more you participate, the more you learn in the process. Okay. Before we go on, I will take a few comments. So please take your time and ask comments. Okay. Rita English. Hey, Rita. Good to see you here. Yeah, I believe what late Mr. Melafia said, 100% and 1% 101% really. All right. Thank you, Rita. Thank you, Rita. And Rita say, greetings all, greetings, Miss Rita. Thank you for being here today. So yeah, that is the situation we find ourselves having leaders who have negated or have ignored the constitution by which they swore to protect and by which they were sworn into office. So, and we are discussing section 17 today. Section 17 starts by saying the state social order is founded on the idea of freedom, equality, and justice. That is what the social order should be founded on in Nigeria. But do we have freedom in Nigeria? Do we have equality in Nigeria? I'm asking you all this question, my audience. You can answer in the comment section. I will discuss it. Do we have freedom in Nigeria? Do we have equality in Nigeria? Do we have justice in Nigeria? Those are the tripods on which social order in Nigeria is supposed to be founded. Freedom, equality, and justice. Do we have these things? Do we have any of these things? In my opinion, I would say, no, we don't. I don't know what you think. Do you think we have those things? I don't think we have those things. And that is why we are out here speaking every Tuesday, making sure you hear this thing, you know these things, so that you can wake up and ask for the right thing to be done. If this government will not do the right thing, make sure to vote them out. And you cannot do so if you don't have your permanent voter's card. You cannot do so if you don't engage politically in the political process in our country, Nigeria. If you abstain, if you stay away, first, okay, let me back out, or let me just stay away from politics because politics is evil, or politics is a dirty game, politics is this, I will not participate. If you don't participate, then these evil men and women keep on perpetuating themselves into office. And we keep on not having freedom, we keep on not having equality, and we keep on not having justice. Is that the country you want? Is that the Nigerian of your dream? Is that the kind of Nigeria you want to have in the next 10 years, in the next 20 years? Is that the country you want your children to live in? Is that the country you want your grandchildren to live in? Is that the country you want your great-grandchildren to live in? What kind of country do you want? A country that truly respects the constitution by which it says it's governed by, the country that respects the social contract it has with people. So it's a country that promised us that the social order shall be founded upon freedom, equality, and justice, and we have been eluded of those things. And we should be founded on those things in furtherance of the social order. And it went further and said, every citizen shall have the equality of rights, obligations, and opportunity before the law. Every citizen, everyone, every citizen of Nigeria should have this thing. But do we have it? We have people who commit petty crime, or people who do not even commit crime, but they were arrested by someone that's bigger than them, that have more money than them, and taken to, and they'll be jailed, and they're supposed to go before the court, the magistrate, so that their case will be heard, but their case are never heard for years, and they are languishing in prison. Is that justice, my brothers and sisters? Is that justice, my fellow Nigerians? This is the country we find ourselves. This is Nigeria. So we need to wake up and hold our leaders accountable, because they have forsaken us. They have forsaken the social contract they have with us under section 17 of the Constitution, the social objective of government. Okay, so I said this government shall respect the sanctity of human person, shall be recognized, and human dignity shall be maintained and enhanced. The sanctity of human person, the sanctity. Do you feel that the sanctity of your life is being regarded by this government? Do you even feel safe in Nigeria? Do you feel safe to go to every nook and cranny in Nigeria? Is your life dignified in any way? You hear Boko Haram killing people. You hear kidnapper kidnapping people. There's no road for you to travel on, because that's part of having a good life. That's a part of protecting our life. People don't know that having basic road is part of protecting your life. Because if you have terrible roads as we have currently in Nigeria, that means your life having shortchanged. Okay, you can drive out there today, and then your car fall into a ditch that is supposed to be a smooth road, but it's a ditch because the government have neglected that road. You've have road that have been cut off. I'm not talking about just road. Even my community in Obofia ward of Uhehi village in Agua local government, Anambra State, the bridge they have been cut off. That's a bridge that fell since September last year. I was sharing that bridge here to draw attention. I drew some attention, and they told me they will work on it. That's why I stopped sharing the video. So I've been waiting. And if they still don't work on it, as I've been waiting, I will resume my campaign again that they need to get back to the promise they made to me. So I'm waiting. So these are the governments we have. They make promises, but they will fail. They endanger our lives every day. They endanger the life of our children every day. Is this the kind of country we bargain for? This is not a country we bargain for. This is not a country we want to live in. We want a better country with leaders who understand the social objective of government as enshrined in our constitution and make sure they bring it into practicality, into actuality. That is what we want. That is what we deserve as humans, as Nigerians. We are not to be slaves in our own country. We're supposed to live freely in our country. We are supposed to have justice in our country. Where is justice in the land? Where is justice? A few weeks ago, the court discharged and acquitted Nnamdi Kanu. But guess what? The federal government had refused to release it. The federal government had refused to obey the court order and said, oh, he was discharged but not acquitted, that they're still looking into the matter, and they've already sued him again to the Supreme Court. Is this the kind of government we deserve? Is it the government who asks for? The government who does not obey court order. That's not the first time they haven't obeyed court order, but we're just pointing it out that they have not obeyed court order in the past, and they're still not obeying court order as of today. Okay? So the government say the government shall obey the sanctity of human person, shall be recognized, and human dignity shall be maintained and enhanced. Governmental action shall be humane. Governmental action shall be humane. They should have human hearts. Does our government have human hearts? Our government have not provided us with hospitals. What is the humane? What is the humanity in a government who have failed to provide basic healthcare facility for the people? People are dying in droves. People cannot be treated. Can you believe that Nigeria is a country of over 200 million people? And a report was released last week that in a country of over 200 people, we only have 24,000 licensed medical doctors. Hey God, 24,000 licensed medical doctors in the whole of Nigeria. Nigeria is supposed to have at least 350,000 doctors. Even for 500,000 doctors, this is not enough. But let's say at least you have 360,000 doctors in Nigeria, practicing doctors in Nigeria. But we don't even have 30,000. We have 24,000 doctors. 24,000 doctors in the whole of Nigeria as a country. Nigerian doctors practicing outside Nigeria are more than the doctors practicing in Nigeria. How can we say that Nigerian government is treating its citizens humanely? Is that humane? They have not provided adequate facility for doctors to work, and that's why doctors have run out of the country in droves to go to better country that will pay them well, country that will value their service, because the country, Nigeria, does not value the services of doctors. Let me take, I think a comment came in, so let me take that as we continue. All right, Ms. Rita said, of course, with Buhari-led government, freedom of speech is like a bomb to their flesh. Hence, they keep doing everything to silence our voices. But by God's grace, they can't fit it. They can't fit it. Thank you, Ms. Rita. By God's grace, we must vote them out. No more APC government. Oh, speaking about no more APC government, the Global Coalition for Security and Democracy in Nigeria, which is an organization that sponsors or that powers this show every Tuesday, held an online global poll on Sunday, this Sunday that passed, October 23rd, 2022. The poll happened from 2 p.m. Nigerian time to, I believe, 6 p.m. Nigerian time. That's about 4 hours of polling. And within that 4 hours, about 14,838 people voted. And guess what? His Excellency Peter Gregory Obi came out as #1, winning by over 60% of the votes. Then followed by Atiku Abubakar came second, followed by Omoyele Sowore came third, and Atiku came fourth, and I believe Kwankwaso came fifth, and then the rest of the other candidates among the 18 candidates. We don't have total 18 candidates running or vying for presidential seats. So I just highlighted the performance of the 5 in this global poll. Peter Obi came #1, Atiku Abubakar came #2, Omoyele Sowore came #3, Tinubu Bola Ahmed came #4, and Rabiu Musa Kwankwaso came #5 on the poll. So with that means that the Global Coalition for Security and Democracy have chosen Peter Obi as its candidate to support and campaign for going forward from that Sunday all the way through February 2023, when the election shall happen. So from now on, I am free to be campaigning for Peter Obi on this platform. You know, I've restrained, I've been obedient all along, but I couldn't campaign for Peter Obi during my show because that would go against the Global Coalition for Security and Democracy, who is the organization powering the show. So now that Peter Obi have emerged as a candidate of the coalition, I can now campaign for my principal, His Excellency Peter Gregory Obi. Yay! All right. Excitement. All right. Let's move on with the conversation here. We have maybe 7 more minutes to go, then we'll round off here. So our governmental action shall be humane, but our government have not truly been humane. The exploitation of human or natural resources in any form whatsoever for reasons other than the good of the community shall be prevented. So the government should not just go and be exploiting our resources or exploiting the people. That does not benefit the people. So this oil that we've been exploring since 1960 or 1970 is supposed to be for the benefit of the people. All the oil works we have accumulated is supposed to have transformed Nigeria as a country. If you go to other oil producing countries, go to Saudi Arabia, it's like heaven on earth. Go to UAE, it's like heaven on earth. Go to Qatar, it's like heaven on earth. Come to Nigeria, it's like hell on earth. They have put their oil money into good use, but we have not put our oil money into good use in the country. The government, the Constitution, Section 17 says that if we exploit our national resources, that it should be for the reason of the benefit of the community, of the people. Go to Ogoni land, go to, sure, not just Ogoni land, the whole of the Niger Delta area having polluted because the land has been exploited against the good of the people, not for the good of the people. That is the situation we find ourselves in Nigeria. All right, moving forward. So it shall be, other than for the good of all, shall be prevented, and the independence, impartiality, and integrity of courts of law and easy accessibility thereto shall be secured and maintained. Is our court's independence? No, our court is still not independent. They say the independence and the impartiality and integrity of our courts of law. That is our social contract of government. You know, people, when we talk about government, people always think about the executive government. People always think about just the president, the vice president, and the governor and the deputy governor. Those are executive. That's the executive branch of government. But there is more than that to government. Government have three branches: the executive branch, which is the president, the vice president, the governor, the deputy governor, and then we have the legislative branch of government, which is the lawmakers, the senators, and the House of Assembly member or House of Rep members. Those are the legislative branch. Then we'll have the judicial branch of government. That's the court system, all the courts of the land, the Supreme Court, the Court of Appeal, the Federal High Court, the State High Court, the Magistrate Court, the Court of Industry, all those other courts that have been created, and the Customary Court and the Sharia Court and all so on. These are what make up the judicial system or the judicial branch of government. But people ignore all these other branches. They don't have questions, because here, Section 17 of the Constitution, subsection 2E, says that there shall be independence and impartiality and integrity of the courts. But are the courts independent? No, they are not. The federal, the executive branch of government still appoints judges for the courts. They still hold the money for the courts. They say whoever, what is the phrase? Someone should type the phrase me, but say whoever pays the piper. Oh yeah, whoever pays the piper dictates the tune. That is it. Whoever pays the piper dictates the tune. So the executive branch of government is paying the judicial branch of government, and that means they dictate the tune. They decide what the judicial branch of government does. That makes the judicial branch of government, or the courts, that makes it independent. That makes it dependent, and that makes it partial instead of impartial as prescribed by the Constitution, and that makes it to lose integrity instead of having integrity as the Constitution envisaged. Okay, no comment came through. All right, Rachel Osazua. Hello, Rachel. Say, good evening, Dr. Edmond Ikeh. Good evening, Rachel. It's good to have you here. What question do you have? I hope you're enjoying the conversation that we're having today, the social contract between the federal government or the state government or Nigerian government with us, the citizens of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, in what is called the social objective of government, found on Section 17 of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, 1999 as amendment. That is what we're discussing today, and we're almost coming to the end of the conversation. So if you have any question, don't hesitate to ask, and as we'll keep going on with the conversation. He said, the state shall direct its policy towards ensuring, this is what the state should ensure. Okay. One, that all citizens without discrimination or on any group whatsoever have the opportunity for securing adequate means of livelihood, as well as adequate opportunity to secure suitable employment. Do we have adequate opportunity to secure employment in Nigeria? Nigerian unemployment rate has been more than 30% for the past 6 years. For the past 6 years. So almost only maybe the first year of Buhari administration that we were below 30%. We are like 20-something, 28, upper 28 percentile. But after second year of Buhari administration, we keep going down and down. Unemployment keep going down and down. And we had unemployment rate of 33.3 something percent. Let's say 33.4%. That is where we find ourselves. That is the country we find ourselves. So they have not respected any of this social contract that have been prescribed by the Constitution. So we're supposed to have means of livelihood. Do we have means of livelihood? What is the salary? What is the minimum wage in Nigeria? Minimum wage of Nigerians is just 30,000 naira. And that 30,000 naira is just on paper. If you go to rural areas, they pay them 10,000 a month. 10,000, what would 10,000 a month do for you? They pay them 15,000 naira a month. They pay them 20,000 naira a month. Even teachers, not just in rural areas, teachers in cities, teachers in Lagos State, Nigeria. Lagos State is the most populated state in Nigeria, the most economic stable state in Nigeria, the state in Nigeria that have economy that's bigger than most African country. That is Lagos State. And in Lagos State, they still pay teachers salary of 15,000 naira a month. 15,000. What would 15,000 naira do for someone in a month in the state of Lagos? My people, please, what? Answer me. That is the country we find ourselves. That is not a means of livelihood. That is not a means of livelihood. And that's not adequate opportunity to secure stable employment. That is not a stable employment. Being earning 15,000 naira a month, that is not stable employment. And B, he says the condition of work are just and humane, and that there are adequate facilities for leisure and for social, religious, and cultural life. See, the condition of work shall be humane. The condition of working in Nigeria is not humane whatsoever. And even foreign companies, multinational, they come to Nigeria because of they look at how Nigerian treats their citizens. They will start treating Nigerian citizens the same way. If you see a job from a multinational that's supposed to pay maybe 150K a month, that is what that job should be paying in Nigeria, in a country as Nigeria. But those multinational will be paying their employees just 45,000 a month or 40,000 a month or higher. They pay 50,000 a month. People say, at least they are paying me more than other Nigerian companies are paying me. But that is poor. That is not good condition of work. That's not just and humane. But that is what our country have done to us, and that have encouraged all these multinationals to come and do the same to its citizens. It breaks my heart when I see this, when I hear these stories, when I talk to people in Nigeria. It breaks my heart, I tell you. C, it says, the health and safety and welfare of all persons in employment are safeguarded and not endangered or abused. Their workers in Nigeria are abused. As well, people that work in warehouses in Nigeria, people that work in factories in Nigeria, people that work in supermarket, all these supermarket, fancy supermarket. You are working in a supermarket, at least I go to a nice place to work. But they don't provide you the tools and resources you need to do your work. They don't provide a proper PPE, that's personal protective equipment. They don't provide all these things. That is not good. We need to change this because they are not the government agency that's supposed to ensure these things. The department is supposed to ensure these things are not doing their job. They will go and collect bribe from these companies, and then they close their eyes when these companies are treating Nigerians bad, are treating Nigerians inhumanely. This ought to change, and it changes when we elect the right government to power. That's what you have to do your part. Then E, he says there is equal pay for equal. There should be equal pay for equal work without discrimination on account of sex or any group or any other group whatsoever. So yeah, women should make more money. If they are paying a man 10 naira per hour, they should pay a woman 10 naira per hour. That's what it means. But we know there is no equality. Gender equality in Nigeria. Nigeria is not a country that promotes gender equality, but our constitution envisioned a gender equal society, and we should push to have it at least in payment of salary, in work compensation, and all that. We should push for all these things, even while we respect our culture. which also push to better the lots of our women folk. Okay, so children, young person, and their age are protected against exploitation whatsoever and against moral and material neglect. Our children have been neglected. Child trafficking is a big business in Nigeria. And usually, and all these trafficked children, where did they come from? They come from poor homes. Nigerians, and how many poor homes we have? We have more than almost half of the population that's poor. Nigeria have over 90 million people living in abject poverty. That's close to half of the population, because the population is about 200 million, and you have over 90 million people living in abject poverty. That means almost half of the country is poor. That means almost half of the country's children are in a state whereby they can be exploited and trafficked and used as sex slaves, even in our country and outside of our country. That is where we'll find ourselves. And we can fix this by fixing our leadership. We can fix this by having your PVC and voting right, okay? So provision is made for public assistance in deserving cases or other conditions of need. Nigeria, about 1/3 of states in Nigeria, 19 states, let me say 1/3, 19 states, according to the report I just read recently, 19 states in Nigeria have been affected by the ongoing flood in Nigeria. Well, is that proper assistance, public assistance for this community that have been submerged by flood? There's no proper assistance. The national agency that's supposed to do this is overwhelmed. They don't have adequate resources, and whatever the government resources have been given to them, allocated to them, have been pocketed by their leaders, the leaders of those organizations. So the poor people are left to suffer the blunt pain of this flood that is ongoing. That is the country we have. That is the country we have find ourselves in. So this is where I leave you today. And I'm just going to say, please, 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 get your PVC. If you are abroad, like me, listen to the message, talk to people back home, encourage them to get their PVC, encourage them to vote for your preferred candidate. For now, since Peter Obi won the election for that was organized by GCSDN, that means I can promote Peter Obi. So I'll tell you, go and get your PVC and vote for Peter Obi. That is my principle. That is the candidate that GCSDN is supporting. That is the candidate that GCSDN is campaigning for. So I'm campaigning to you right now. Get your PVC and make sure you vote for Peter Obi come February 2023. Peter Obi of Labour Party, Mama, Papa, Picking Party. And that is what you need to do. And make sure you don't forget that. And make sure you talk to more people to do the same, to get their PVC and vote Peter Obi of Labour Party. Thank you very much. And this is where I leave you.